Good to go.
The June 9th, 2021 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to order. Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Dr. Vogt?
Here.
Mrs. Wittes?
Here.
Dr. Selly?
Here.
Mr. Vieira?
Here. We will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper and adequate and electronic notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and New Jersey Administrative Code, Title 5, Chapter 39, Section 1.5, Notice of Remote Public Meetings as required by law.
Reading the approval of previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of May 22nd, 2021. Excuse me, May 26th, 2021.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mr. Vieira?
Yes. Presentations, we got none. Consideration of ordinance, public hearing, and final consideration. Ordinance 11-21, an ordinance amending chapter 325-3C, section 26, schedule 2, no parking any time on court, amended. This ordinance was reintroduced on May 26, 2021, and authorizes no parking anytime on Leslie Court. I need a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone, and a representative will call you by your last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ernest McNolly, 710 Northeast 7th Street, Boynton Beach, Florida. So I had a question, if you could summarize. We're talking about 4th Avenue, correct?
No. Leslie Court.
Oh, Leslie Court, okay. And we're talking about no parking anytime.
Correct.
Okay, and what is the situation there now?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. It's no parking anytime. We're amending it.
Correct me. No, I'm
side.
asking you. What do you mean? Correct you. I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me. Yes, there's no.
Yeah, I'm asking you. What is it now, and what is the ordinance seeking to change it to?
Yes,
The ordinance
Mr.
says
Noel.
no
Okay.
parking anytime. But what is it now before you vote on it?
It's no parking anytime, and we are now allowing parking on one side of the street. Am I correct, Mr. Raynone?
Correct. What we're doing is we're changing it from the entire street to the east side.
Oh, so that's
No
a good thing.
parking
But
on
that's
the east side.
oh, okay. Well, I think that's a good thing. Oh, so you're adding a side of parking. I don't know why it
Mr.
sounded like when you read the ordinance that you were taking something away.
No,
No, that's correct, Mr. McNolly. You're right. We are.
All
adding.
right. You're good. How many spaces are you adding by doing that?
That I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say half a dozen, maybe.
Okay, that's a good thing. Will there be a handicap?
No.
Okay. Will it be resident, any kind of
no,
resident parking
No.
only?
nope.
Okay, so that the summer people could take it as well, right? As well as the people who live on that street.
It's a public street. Correct.
It's a public street. Okay. All right. Well, I would hope that you do that, but I wish you would do it everywhere so that somehow to compensate for all the summer people coming and taking everything, that the people who live here have a chance to park. I mean, they just can't. And if I do buy a house there, which I'm hoping, I want to buy a house for part-time residents. I'm full-time in Florida now, but I want to be able to think like I can have people over and park. But from what I hear and I hear at meetings, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And some people say it's going to get like California soon, where they, get out and start fist fighting over parking space. So you don't want that. You got to figure out a way to keep adding parking like you're doing. So I would hope that you vote yes. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. McNally.
Mr. Magnoli, while since you haven't used your 5 minutes, I know it's on this ordinance. I just want to let you know that I did leave you a text message and tried to call, but you had no voicemail.
Yeah, I might have been in transit. I'm in New Jersey now. I'm in Asbury Park right now, because they had their first open council meeting tonight. So I would have come to your open council meeting, because I know, I overheard, and people are telling me a lot of the mayors are saying, we're glad he's down in Florida. But you know what? I'll fly up for the councul meeting. That's how interested I am.
Mr. Magnoli, we have to stick to the ordinance. I apologize.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. McNally. Anybody else, Will?
Yeah, 2 more, sir. Caller whose phone number ends in 080. Go ahead. Oh, they dropped off. Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Mr. IT man, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch, requesting 1-minute notification. A letter was attached to this ordinance by an attorney named Jacob Tabell. And in the letter, he states, quote, I truly believe that after weighing all the options and considerations, a modification of the parking restrictions in accordance with the aforementioned recommendation will best serve the interest of both residents of Leslie Court and those non-residents who desire to park there, end quote. Mr. Raynon, could you please tell me how the best interests of the non-residents are now served?
Well, it's providing more parking.
When was the last time you were on that street, Mr. Raynon?
I'm not sure that I've ever been on that street. I think that's the residents are asking for more parking on the street. I'm assuming that's what he's saying.
As of today, there are still signs on that street on the western side stating no parking.
Correct, because we haven't passed the ordinance yet.
Because what is the status of those signs after this ordinance is passed?
So after it's signed by the mayor, it goes into effect 20 days later, and then the signs will be taken down.
All right. What's wrong with this? The police chief and parking enforcement saying homeowners need spots so they can pull out and let their kids play basketball. If homeowners on the west side need that, then similarly homes on the east side of Leslie needed the same accommodations. There was no need to fabricate this. I've been following this ordinance for better than 2 months. The ordinance would flip-flop from the east side to the west side to the east side. The fact is there should be full parking on both sides of the street for beach public access. Is this what Pallone calls another balance for the Elberon residents like he did last summer for the beach fees on the Elberon beaches? Balance? Isn't that the word Pallone used to accommodate Elberon residents? This ordinance is impeding parking for public access. Again, there should be parking on both sides of Leslie. The street is 50 feet wide. Pullman is 50 feet wide. The excuse of using basketball courts is ridiculous because if you set the precedent for using this on Leslie, there's basketball stands on the driveways on Elberon Avenue. So is Elberon Avenue going to be the next street where they have parking on one side, taking away parking on both sides? The houses on the west side of Leslie are better than a half-acre lots. They're on half-acre lots. on the east side, they're better than 1/3 acre lots. They can't build their own basketball courts on that size property. And on the corner of Leslie and Pullman, the driveway apron faces Pullman Avenue, not Leslie. The residents can't get together to accommodate their kids playing basketball in the driveway and park their cars in one of their 4 to 6 car driveways with 2-car garages. No, I don't buy this ordinance at all. No. What's the quid pro quo on this, Pallone? The beach access people should have been on top and all over this one for parking for public access. I'm requesting a no vote on this ordinance. We see right through this one. That's all.
Mr. Jackson, I'm sorry. I have no idea what Mr. Lepore is talking about basketball courts.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
You?
You wouldn't.
Do you, Mr. Jackson or Mr. Raynon, are basketball courts allowed where there's
No.
parking?
No, and so I'm not really sure. And once again, this is increasing the amount of parking, not limiting the amount of parking.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
When Mr. Tabelli first contacted us, Mayor, the suggestion from him was that we create resident parking there because there's no parking at all on either side of the street. We told him that that would not be fair to the people that wanted to park anywhere in that neighborhood, that we didn't have resident-only parking on the nearby streets. And then he came back with a suggestion that we just reinstate parking on one side of the street to give some relief. So there is no preference for anyone. And actually, we're recreating spots that were taken away several years ago.
Correct.
Right, and if I'm not mistaken, you did a survey of every single resident on the street and they all concurred and agreed, correct?
Mr. Tabelli actually did that for us and obtained all of their signatures and presented that to us.
Right, so again, let's just confirm here. That was no parking on both sides of the street. We are now having one side of the street has parking. Anybody can park there. And certainly a basketball court can't be placed on the road. Is that accurate,
Correct.
Mr. Raymond?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more callers, Will?
No other callers, sir.
I need a motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is the second reading of the ordinance 11-21 titled an ordinance amending chapter 325-3C, section 26, schedule 2, no parking anytime Leslie Court, amended. I need a motion to adopt on the second and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes. Ordinance 12-21, an ordinance of the city of Long Branch amending section 75-9 of the code of the city of Long Branch to declaring Juneteenth day as an official city holiday. This ordinance was introduced on May 26, 2021, and established Juneteenth day as an official city holiday to be celebrated on the third Friday of June. I need a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone and a representative will call you by your last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 080. Go ahead. You may have to dial *6 to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Thank you. My name is Christy Redder. I live at 480 Marvin Drive. I have a question, and I'm not sure I'm allowed to ask a question that has nothing to do with parking. Is it
This is-
okay if I bring
Ma'am,
something up?
This isn't a parking ordinance. This is an ordinance concerning establishing Juneteenth as a city holiday.
Oh, okay. So
But the
Can I
public,
bring up-
but the public portion will follow this.
Yeah, it'll
So
be
just
later.
Oh,
stay
okay.
on and you can discuss anything.
okay, thank you so much. I
Yes,
will.
no problem.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Ernest Ngoli, 710 Northeast 7th Street, Boynton Beach, Florida. So making what a public holiday?
Juneteenth, was declared a public holiday by the state. It's the third Friday in June every year.
Okay, and I know what the state means, but what does it mean to Long Branch? How do you define it?
It's the same. We define that as the same.
No. If someone were to ask Long Branch, what is it that you're making as the day, and not just say, well, it's the same as the state. What is it? Explain it to us.
It's the third. It's the third Friday of each June.
Okay, and that's why it's a holiday?
It will be a holiday, correct? City Hall will be closed.
Okay, and what does the holiday represent to Long Branch? That's what I'm asking.
Well, Juneteenth
Not to the-
commemorates the date in 1865 when a Union general rode into Galveston, Texas to inform enslaved people of the 1863 Emancipation Proclamation. It's a significant date in history.
Okay, so and that's why I'm aware of what it is, but what I'm saying is you're approving it, and you're going to actually make it a municipal holiday, correct?
Correct.
Okay. First of all, your CFO is there, right? Is Mr. Michaels there?
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yeah. Mr. Michaels, what does it cost to give the whole municipality a day off? And how many more are there going to be? Long Branch doesn't have enough? What's the cost of giving the entire city a paid day off? I'm just asking you, roughly.
I would have to
Mr.
calculate.
Michael.
Sure.
Well, just roughly, Mr. Michael, a ballpark.
I
I mean,
like
we're not talking police, we're not talking firemen, we're talking everybody else. A day off with pay. How much is it in Long Branch?
I'm not going to estimate a number without the knowledge.
Of a what?
I'm not going to estimate a number without researching it.
Well, I thought you see those numbers every day. Aren't you the CFO?
I am.
And you don't know what the numbers are, the municipal payroll every day?
Not on a daily basis, no.
All right. Do you know it on a weekly basis? Because then I'll figure it out. I'll divide by 5.
It varies
What's
on
so
a
funny? What's so funny? You know what, Michael? You always got a joke. You know what it is weekly, the municipality? Not the police, not the fire. What's your payroll per week?
bi-weekly. It's approximately $1 million.
So it's 500,000 a week, correct?
You could estimate that, sure.
Okay, well, I'm going by what you just said. So you're saying when you pass this ordinance, the taxpayers are going to pay $100,000.
No, that's not true. The taxpayers are going that payroll is going to get paid for that day no matter what. The
That's
answer
correct.
is what we're going to do is that we're going to give people in town.
Well, wait a minute. No. Mr. Rinaldi, listen to me. Wait a minute. When they're not working, they're not producing. What kind of sense does that make?
Well,
you know what?
because
It's embarrassing.
It's
embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for me because here you got a CFO, a mayor, council, and a lawyer, and I'm asking a simple question. So then he finally says,
premises that it
what?
costs something. We're paying payroll for that day anyway, so it doesn't cost us anything in addition.
So I'll tell you what. You know, I was born there, 1948, November 1st. Why don't you declare All Saints Day, Magnolia Day, and give them a day off? When is this going to stop? What are you going to do? Go into history books? And at $100,000 a day, just keep making holidays? Who can afford that? Unless the Pier Village people are going to pay for it when they get off the tax abatements in 40 years. Who's going to pay for this lack of production? All the work that doesn't get done. And why are you doing this? Why? Everything's these days about image for Long Branch because of all the problems in Long Branch, the 25th most dangerous place, internal crime, corruption, terrible cops, thieving, terrible firemen.
Keep it to the holiday, Mr. McNolly. We're not worried about
Okay,
it.
good. Well, yeah, I was hoping
it to
for
the
a
holiday.
holiday from all those criminals in Long Branch.
This is
Why
not
don't you
about
make that a
criminals.
holiday?
This is not about criminals. This is about the Juneteenth. It's a holiday.
It's not. It's not. Taking $100,000 for something from the 1800s?
Not something. This is about slavery. What is the cost of slavery?
Oh yeah. Why didn't you talk up with the pool, Mr. Discrimination? Yeah, who's that, Dangler? What happened with the pool?
No, my name is
You
not
made a
Dangler.
pool. You made a
My name
pool
is
in a
not
dump
Dangler.
in
My
a
name is
swamp.
Mr. Dangler.
You made a
Mr.
pool in a dump in a
You'll never
swamp
forget
for a
this.
developer, and you didn't
Mr.
say anything. I
Mr.
did.
Lepore, you're gonna keep a track or I'm gonna turn you.
I'm not
hang up
Mr.
on you.
Lepore. Goodbye.
Sorry, Mr.
I'll wait till the
McNolly.
public comment. I'll
Mr.
wait till the
McNolly,
public
listen.
It's 5 minutes.
McNolly, 5 minutes are up. Thank you. That's it?
No, caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Mr. IT man, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. I'm requesting 1 minute notification if needed. Mr. Martin, in your budget, you have salary and wages. The budget being introduced tonight.
Excuse me,
27 million.
Mr. Lepore, this is about the Juneteenth? This is about the ordinance?
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah.
So why are we asking about the
Exactly.
budget?
All right, Mr. Vieira, can you please tell me what the annual salary and wages are in the city of Long Branch?
I don't think that's got nothing to do with this Juneteenth. This is a
I
holiday.
think it has everything to do with it. I think it has everything to do with it because I want to know what the daily cost is now that you know the number, what the daily cost is of operating employees in this city. Mr. Vieira, do you have the answer?
As I indicated to Mr. McNolly, I can research that and get back to you also.
You can research that and get back to me. All right. Mr. Martin, is that who I'm speaking with now?
Yes, sir.
How is the overtime going to be handled for this holiday?
What overtime are you referring to, sir?
The holiday of the ordinance we're talking about, Juneteenth.
People will have off that day, so they won't be working overtime.
All employees in this city will be off. None will be working, incurring overtime.
The police will be working and the fire are working, but holidays are built into their salary, so they don't get holidays off.
And public work employees,
I'm not
if they're
sure.
needed for overtime, how would that be arranged? What is the cost incurred for the overtime on Juneteenth for public works employees if needed for overtime?
If they're needed for overtime,
No way to know, right? It's whether you need them or not. How
right.
would you?
If needed, they're paid at
If
double
they're
time.
needed, what is the cost?
Double rate, double time.
Double rate. Okay. Mr. Martin, are you aware that the state of New Jersey will incur $3 million for this day as a holiday? Mr. Martin, did the local have the opportunity to opt out of this holiday by honoring it? They could honor the holiday, but not proclaim it a holiday as in this ordinance? Could the local have just gone along with the state to honor the holiday without doing its own ordinance and incurring a cost to the taxpayers
The local
with this
law.
ordinance for that day?
Are you talking about the unions, Mr. Lepore, the locals?
No, the municipal government. Did it have the opportunity to opt out? Was there a requirement by the state that all local municipalities had to comply with this holiday?
There was no such requirement. This was a judgment. This was a decision that Long Branch made.
All right, so it was optional. It's an option. All right, since we don't have the figures tonight on how much this holiday will cost the taxpayers, Mr. Martin, I would appreciate it when I put an Oprah in, if you can produce the record of how much this holiday will cost the taxpayers. As much as the holiday can be appreciated and respected, we all must keep in mind today, the taxpayers, not only in Long Branch, but New Jersey, are the modern day slaves with no choice whatsoever.
1 minute warning.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Laporte.
No other hands raised, sir.
I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
This is the second reading of ordinance 12-21, titled an ordinance of the city of Long Branch, amending section 75-9 of the code of the city of Long Branch to declaring Juneteenth the day as the official city holiday. I need a motion to adopt on the second and final reading and advertise according to law.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
You're muted, Bill.
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Viera.
Yes. Ordinance for introduction. This is the first reading of ordinance 13-21, titled an ordinance amending section 78-1C on the code of the city of Long Branch concerning the authorized membership of the police department of the city of Long Branch. This ordinance changes the authorized membership of the police department of the city of Long Branch, reducing the number of captains from 4 to 3 and increasing the number of sergeants from 14 to 15. I need a motion to introduce the first reading, advertise and post according to law, and set the public hearing for June 23rd, 2021.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Dr. Dangler, I'm sorry, Mr. Dangler,
No.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Abstain.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Viera.
Yes. This is the first reading of ordinance 14-21, titled an ordinance establishing fees, rules, and regulations for the operation of the use of the city of the Long Branch Pleasure Bay Municipal Swimming Complex. This ordinance establishes the daily fees for the use of the city of the Long Branch Pleasure Bay Municipal Pool and establishing regulations for the use of the pool. I need a motion to introduce the first reading, advertise and post according to law, and set the public hearing for June 23rd, 2021.
And Council President, can I just, before you get the motion, I just wanted to note that for members of the public who may have seen the draft ordinance that was part of the packet, that we did make 2 changes. And the 2 changes are that it'll be children less than 5 years old will be free. And then children 5 years of age through 13 years of age will be $5. So we did make that change. And I just want to note that it will be introduced in that manner. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. I need a motion to introduce the first reading, advertise, and the post according to law. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that already.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Viera.
Yes. This is the first reading of ordinance 15-21, titled an ordinance amending chapter 325, section 5, schedule 7 on the way streets of Melrose Terrace. This ordinance allows two-way traffic on the portion of Melrose Terrace. I need a motion to introduce on the first reading and advertise and post according to law, and set the public hearing for June 23rd, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Viera.
Yes. This is the first reading of ordinance 16-21, titled A Calendar Year 2021 Model Ordinance to Exceed the Municipal Budget and Appropriation Limits and the Established Cap of Bank. NJSA 40A:4-4514. This ordinance establishes a cap bank. NJSA 40A:4-45.1. ET Sequin provides that in the preparation of this annual budget, a municipal shall limit any increase said budget to 2.5 unless authorized by ordinance to increase it to 3.5% over the previous years. Final appropriation subject to certain exceptions. NJSA 40A:4-4515A provides that the municipality may, when authorized by ordinance, appropriate the difference between the amount of this actual final appropriation and the 3.5% rate as an exception to this final appropriations. In either of the next two succeed years, this ordinance allows for appropriation increases above 2.5. I need a motion to introduce the first reading, advertise and post according to law, and set a public hearing for June 23, 2021.
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
Mr. Viera.
Yes. Public participation for resolutions and all general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
All in
Second.
favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone and the representative will call you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ernest McNally, 710 North 7th Street, Boynton Beach, Florida. Born in Long Branch, 301 2nd Avenue, 1948. So, first of all, I've been after the mayor and council for the horrible police and firemen in Long Branch relative to discrimination. Look at the pictures that you put on Facebook that they put. It's a disgrace. And I don't hear Mr. Dangler talking about it. He wants holidays. Why don't you just get your police department? Look at the picture in front of City Hall of your police department, Mr. Dangler, and then look at your fire department, Mr. Dangler. And how come we don't hear from you then? Or when you build that pool in a swamp, that disgusting pool, right? And remember the comments that people were making? Oh, yeah, it'll keep certain areas out of the, over by the beach, you know, away from by the beach. You don't do anything except mouth off against people who expose what's going on, like me. Now, look at this thing with Walls, this cop, the 15th. You're covering it up. You're using the same prosecutor that covered up for Joyce Jr. Remember what he did to Patrick King's brother's daughter in the bar? This Melanie Falco with your Josh Bard, your Captain IA? Look at how you're getting these people off. Criminal cops and firemen, left and right. You should be ashamed. You should be exposed, not ashamed of yourself. You're covering up. Look at this thing with Tom Shea you put in the paper, talking about walls. Tom Shea, that's Mr. Dumpstergate. Remember that criminal cop stealing all the money for the dumpsters and having to pay it back? How about with his friend Charlie Simonelli, the other corporal, the detective? How did that man get a job? No high school diploma, no GED, right? No nothing. What's he doing on the police force? You see the corruption in your police department and your fire department? Look at it, Goozy, Schmoozy, Moozy. Look at them all, Roebuck, Bard, whoever, on and on. You're not willing to do nothing. You're pulling it over, and the public should see what you're doing. And no, I got a police report about meth and chemicals, 2012 with Walls. You know who responded? Rizzuto and Korn. And I got the police report. You're covering it up. This case should go to the FBI. It should go to the FBI, not with Bard and Melanie Falco from the prosecutor who fixes all your cases, gets all your cops and firemen off. It's a disgrace. You should be exposed all over the state. And people on the council who have children who are judges, you should say something too, because it involves a lot of the municipal courts, like Long Branch, Asbury, Homedale, Matawan, all of them. Well, they're horrible what they do, covering up crimes with police and firemen with the prosecutor. And thankfully, this prosecutor is gone, and his wife is gone, and your school superintendent's gone, and Asbury school superintendent's gone, and Roebuck is gone, your police chief. Enough more need to be gone. Do I have any time left? Huh?
Yes, you have a minute and a half.
Oh, great. Okay. So let me refocus here. So now, Ocean Club, this guy, Shea Thomas, you let him comment on Walls in the Link paper and in the Asbury Park Press with Dan Riddell. And the prosecutor's former Asbury Park Press guy. This guy, Thomas Shea, I'm going to investigate him. Not only is a Bridgegate guy, he had to pay back $1,000 he stole, but he pulled a baton and a weapon on another Long Branch cop that wouldn't loosen his police dog, right? And then he punched one of your guys, Moray, right, in front of witnesses, and you're covering up. And who do you put in the paper? Oh, Thomas Shea says Walls is a great guy. Listen, I got the police report that shows Rizzuto and Korn in 2012 were at Walls' house about those chemicals from the meth lab. You're going to have to figure something out now because your guy Bard's covering it up, and I got the police report. And talk to Melanie Falco from the prosecutor, who's also covering up for you, and make sure you involve Pallone, and Senator Gopal, all cover-up artists for these criminal sex offender, degenerate cops and firemen in Monmouth County. Do I have any time left?
4 seconds.
Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Paula, whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Mr. IT Man, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Requesting 1 minute notification. Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Vincent Lepore. Last week, NJDEP enforcement again overrode the city of Long Branch and issued notice of violations against Avenue La Club and Kushner Companies at Pier Village. The first violation concerning the continued obstruction of the NJDEP required dog-legged public access running alongside Avenue La Club. The second violation to Kushner Companies for lack of signage of the said public access. Of course, the city has allowed these violations to exist for many years. Indirect violation of a document entitled, quote, Grant of Conservation Easement, Public Access to Waterfront, dated July 17th, 2009. DEP CAFRA, recorded in Monmouth County book 8786, page 6873. The document concerning beach access at Pier Village in exchange for allowing commercial use of the beach. That commercial use being a private beach club and cabanas. The conservation easement states as follows, quote, whereas a condition for the permit, grantor must provide a public access over a portion of the property, including its water's edge, by creating and maintaining a boardwalk and stairway to the beach available for use by the public during grantor's commercial use of the property easement area, end quote. Clearly, the city of Long Branch, Kushner Companies, and Avenue Club did purposely and intentionally contribute to the violation of Section 7, which states, quote, in no event shall grantor erect, place, or maintain a gate or any obstruction whatsoever across any portion of the easement area or the beach passage area by the public at any time, end quote. As for the public access signage, Section 9 of this document states very clearly, quote, the entrance to the easement area shall be marked by an unobtrusive semi-permanent sign reading public access within 30 days of A, completion of the boardwalk and stairway within the easement area, and B, recordation of this instrument, end quote. And finally, Section 15 of this document allows DEP enforcement to issue notice of violations and whatever, quote, legal remedies are necessitated. We are now seeing the DEP enforcement becoming very active at Pier Village. And that's a good thing. Because since 2009, at many council meetings, I've been bringing up this access easement. The Schneider administration, the Pallone administration
1
have
minute
done
warning.
nothing.
1 minute warning.
The public access groups and the organizations that claim to be for public access and beach should be ashamed of themselves. Because if this happened in Deal, they would be hammering the mayor of Deal. But they're always giving Pallone a pass. Just like they did last summer when Pallone, quote, balanced the interest of beachgoers against the interest of Elberon residents. There is no balance or compromise for the public trust doctrine. And the beach access groups better wake up to that fact, because Long Branch has many violations just as severe as Deal, New Jersey. I would like to thank the NJDEP for their active enforcement now taking place in the city of Long
5
Branch.
minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Lepore.
Caller whose phone number ends in 080. Go ahead.
Was that phone number ending in 080? I didn't hear it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Christy Redder. I live at 480 Marvin Drive. I've lived in Long Branch my entire adult life. I have a quick question regarding the beach. Specifically, the little carts that drive back and forth between lifeguard stands, delivering lunches and everything else, that run basically nonstop from 8:30 in the morning until 5. Is there any way that they can limit that on the beach? I find it really offensive as far as noise goes. The guys are doing 50 miles an hour, feels like. You know, I grew up on these beaches, and if the lifeguard can't walk from one beach to another, then we have a whole other slew of problems. I understand that for the sake of safety, emergency equipment and all of that, it's vital, and they should be limited to a very small pathway. But this back and forth at breakneck speeds that runs all day long is really over the top. Is there anything that can be done to restrict that?
Well, I mean, Director, if you want to jump in, but I mean, certainly they shouldn't be racing up and down unless there's an emergency. So if you do see something, if you could, let me know, that would be fine. But I think you have to understand, last summer and this summer we had, well, forgetting about last summer and this summer, let's just think about the last couple of weekends, right? The official beach season in which, the beaches, 19 beaches are guarded, as you can see in the ordinance today, and several miles of public beach, which now, extends even further. We have made several rescues just in the last 2 weeks. Director, jump in at some point, but I think, we might have had, we've saved, I think it's fair to say, there were several rescues that were made. And I think if you didn't have those guys and that communication going back and forth, you might have a problem just with the number of people that we have and so forth. But look, if you see somebody racing, then please let us know.
No, but it's not just that. I understand the whole rescue thing. My boyfriend's been rescued numerous times for kiting and being stuck in a storm, et cetera, whatever. I get that. But the cars that I'm looking at have nothing to do with safety. It has nothing to do with an emergency. It's guys going from stand to stand, like just kind of checking it out. I go to the beach. I've been going to the beach, especially Matilda Terrace and what's the one up from it? The one by the pipe. So I've been going to that beach for 40 years. And honestly, on a Saturday morning when you're sitting at the beach and we get down really early, by 8:30, those cars are cranking. And they are not creeping up and down the beach. They are flying up and down the beach, which I would probably be doing too if I was a kid at that age, because it's fun to drive those things. But personally, I find the noise level is deafening. You hear them coming, they're crisscrossing each other. It's like sitting on a highway trying to enjoy the beach. And I, as a Long Branch, I've been here my whole life. I find it really offensive. I get it, you need them, but you need them in moderation, not at this level. This is really, it's like being on a highway.
So, Ms. Ritter, if I could jump in, Director Saladita from Public Safety. I'm going to give you my email address and the phone number. You can contact me. This is basically the second complaint I'm hearing on this in recent days. We'll try to identify exactly who those members are and who they work for directly and try to address them. So you can contact me at, it's going to be D as in David, S as in Sam, A as in Alpha, L as in Larry, D as in David, I as in India, D as in David, A as in Alpha at longbranch.org. And you can also contact me during business hours. I'm usually in the office by 7 a.m. and you can call the office at 732-571-5691. I'll be expecting a phone call tomorrow and we could discuss it further and see what we can do for you. And if it is a safety concern, we will discuss it and get down to the bottom of it for you. Okay?
Okay, that sounds great. Do I have any time left?
And as I said, please feel free to call my office at any time.
I'll call.
Also, and if you can identify somehow the what you see, that would be helpful too, right?
Yeah.
Right, Director?
Absolutely. So if you could identify what color the vehicle is that they're driving, and usually what outfit they're wearing. They wear different shirts. They might be beach rescue. They may be the class 1 police officers. They may be the rescue teams, DPW, whoever it may be, because they have access to the beach. Identifying the time and location that you've seen what was going on, mark it down and give it to me and I'll look into it.
Okay. And if I have
Thank you.
Do I have any time left or am I
Sure.
done?
You have 30
I'm sorry?
seconds.
Go ahead. you
Okay,
got
really
30 seconds.
quickly. My boyfriend and I are down on the beach every weekend. We're trying to start collecting trash, in particular cigarette butts. Is there any way to put a couple of chimneys at every beach? Because honestly, nobody's throwing anything in garbage cans. They're throwing them on the ground. Those things are not biodegradable.
5 minutes.
Okay,
They
thank
have
you.
them all over Pier Village.
All right, thanks.
No other callers, sir.
All right, thank you. I need a motion to close the public participation portion of this meeting.
So move.
All in
Second.
favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We could take a list of the resolutions of the consent agenda. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes. I need a motion to appoint the following member of the following branch fire department. Name, Thomas Kalan. Company, Elbron. Active.
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Dangler.
Thank you, Council President. First, this is your last meeting, so I would like to publicly thank you for the fine job that you've done over this trying year dealing with COVID. I think you did a nice job, so congratulations on that, and I appreciate it. Second, I usually say things such as wear your mask and be safe, but I just want to address this particular issue, which is I never stop anyone from speaking. I believe everyone has their right to their opinion. I did not force or push or even request Juneteenth. Administration and mayor brought it to me and the council before I could even bring it to them. I do think it is a great idea since the state has already done that. However, to belittle what slavery has done to the African Americans, Black, whichever way you would like to label people of color, what it has done to their families, to our ancestors, that is not acceptable to me. I'm not speaking for the rest of the council. So again, I don't belittle anyone for speaking about how they feel about any particular subject. But let's not make jokes about slavery and what it has done. It has destroyed families. Sons and daughters have not seen their mother. And if they did, they may have seen them being raped by the slave owners. Fathers having to run away and then getting caught and getting whipped for just trying to be free. People not being able to read. If they got caught, they would be whipped. Things like that we need to keep in mind. So again, just want everyone to know that is listening that I am definitely not against anyone speaking how they feel. If it's an overtime issue, but to make light of what Juneteenth was all about and when it came about. And it needs to be exposed in a sense that our young people know what it is all about. Because we were not taught this in high school. My ancestors had to teach me this. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Councilman Dangler. Councilwoman Vogt.
Thank you, Council President. Let me start off by seconding everything that Councilman Dangler just said. Council President Mario Vieira, outstanding job. We'll miss your leadership as our president going forward. And as was said, a tough year, you handled it beautifully. Councilman Dangler Second comment about Juneteenth. Absolutely, everything that he said to the importance of acknowledging slavery, the end of slavery, the effect of slavery on our country, on individual families, needs to be recognized, needs to be respected. And I'm proud of the fact that Long Branch has declared it a holiday. Two additional things I want to bring to your attention. One of the resolutions that we passed tonight, which again, I think is very, very important. And it brings light to the fact that June is LGBTQ plus Pride Month. And I just want to read one paragraph from the resolution that we passed, which reads like this: whereas while our city, state, and nation have come a long way in our journey towards dignity, understanding, acceptance, inclusiveness, and mutual respect for all, we still have a long way to go in eradicating the prejudice and discrimination that the LGBTQ plus people face every day. Very important for us to remember, and in bringing that to your attention, I also want to point out we had a beautiful, the city had a beautiful first flag raising for the LGBTQ Gay Pride Week. Totally heartwarming, totally inspiring, totally a statement of how the city feels towards respect, dignity for all. So I was very proud of Long Branch on that evening, Sunday evening. The other thing I'm going to bring to your attention is this Sunday from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock on the Great Lawn, the HERES organization, which I hope you all know is the Mayor's Task Force on Substance Use Disorders, is having a spectacular celebration of recovery. It's called Thriving Out Loud. It will be an afternoon filled with food, music, celebration of recovery with speakers, people who are in long-term recovery, what their struggle has been and how we all can help them. Over 30 vendors who will be there in terms of all sorts of resources for people who are struggling with addiction and certainly trying to overcome this, this horrible, horrible disease. So please, if you can, come out, stop by, support HERES, support all the work that's being done. Most of all, support the people that we know who are struggling again with this very, very difficult disease. Hope to see everybody on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Councilwoman Pogue. Councilwoman Willis?
Hi, good evening. Just like to thank everyone who called in for your comments, and I also would like to thank Mario for the great job you've done. It's been very difficult during this year, and we truly appreciate everything. You've kept it all together for us, and we appreciate that. And you have a great co-captain, Dr. Selly, to help us all lead the way. And then I also would like to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. That's coming up, and want to thank all the fathers out there for all that they do. And have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Willis. Councilwoman Selly?
I also want to wish all the fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, any kind of a father you are. It's your day. Enjoy, and happy Father's Day. And now, my thanks to Mario. I know he gets tired of hearing it, but he has done a marvelous job this last year. We've had some bumps in the road, but he took a marvelous leadership role, and I can't thank him enough for leading us in this very tough year that we had. And so, Mario, I wish you well on your trip, and we shall miss you, and good luck, and God bless.
Thank you, Councilwoman Selly. Mayor Pallone?
Thank you, Mario. let me start by wishing everybody a happy Father's Day, as we all have. I also want to just echo what everybody has kind of said, and that I'm very proud that we collectively, feel that Juneteenth is important to talk about and to celebrate. Thank you, Councilman Dangler and the council. The same goes for, we had 2 flag raisings this weekend. We had both the Pride flag raising that Anita pointed out and the Portuguese flag raising. And it's just actually a great week of, because, we're all about being inclusive and diversity. And so I'm just very honored, along with the council, to be part of all that. And I have a few more things to say, but with regards to Council President Vieira, I said this to him the other day, but I want to thank you for all you've done as the council president. It has been a difficult year, but I want to say again that you represent everything that, as a council and an administration, and speaking for myself, that I think we wanted to be. So thank you for that. With that, let me also say that tonight the council introduced our budget. And again, I want to thank the city council for their hard work on that, our administrator, George Jackson, and of course, our CFO, Mike Martin, and all the department heads for working together. We're very happy to announce that another year with a reduced tax rate. And yet we're going to continue to maintain and increase our municipal services. So over 70% of homeowners will see either a reduction in their actual property taxes that they pay, or will not have an increase this year. So we're very happy about that. The city's tax rate is estimated to decrease by about 5 cents. And the school and county also contributed to an overall estimated tax rate decrease of about 9 cents. We had a conversation with Mr. Martin, who said that dramatic decrease in the tax rate has not taken place for several years. So again, thank you for that, City Council. This is the last day, or the last day for our vaccination clinic is this Friday, June 11th. You can still get registered and vaccinated at the Bucky James Center from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. without an appointment. So just walk in anytime between those hours. Obviously try to get there before 4 o'clock. You must be a Long Branch resident, and residents must be 18 years or older. I want to take a moment just to thank all of our city employees, our health department, police, again, city council, everybody, the housing authority, everybody who's been involved with this, and especially the VNA, Chris Wren, for making our vaccination program so successful. I mentioned, I think at the last meeting, that we had vaccinated over 4,000 people. And, we're just very proud of that. We're still going to have a couple of pop-up vaccination centers on the boardwalk a couple times this summer, again, in conjunction with the VNA. So we're looking forward to that. And I believe that that's open to non-residents as well. And we'll announce all of that. As you know, our summer concerts started last Sunday. We'll continue to have the concerts on Sunday. And then downtown Tuesdays and Thursday night concerts will begin in early July. Check our website for the full schedule. I mentioned last time that the Ocean Fest fireworks are on this year. The festival, or Ocean Fest itself, was canceled, but the fireworks tradition will continue. More information on that will follow, but of course that's on July 4th. We have pickleball, tennis, yoga, and more planned for summer 21 through our recreation department. Call 732-571-6545 to sign up today. We have some other events like fun days that we're in the middle of planning right now. If you may remember, we did that 2 years ago, 2 summers ago. And of course, we have a very short planned opening of our arts center and pool very shortly. Please check our website and social media for these events as well. So again, thank you. I'm sorry it was so long-winded, but thank you for joining in tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Pallone. And I also want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And I want to echo with my fellow councilman, Councilman Dangler. It was our pleasure. It was a great thing we did for the June thing. And I think it was a great idea, and we support that 100%. And also want to thank the administration for working with me for the last year, and especially my councilman members for letting me leading them, because it was a special, and you guys did support me, and you guys helping me when I need help. And I call this a perfect team. And I never thought I'll be doing this 5 years ago, never in the wildest year. And I had fun, and thank you. And I know Councilwoman Vogt will be taking over the reins in about a month or so. And I know she'll do a great job with that. And with that, I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day and good night. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you and good night.
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 Will, don't go away.